Hello, people! Welcome to another fine episode of Who's an Anime with your hosts Steve and Colin. Continuing,
Whoa!
continuing our conversation on Steins Gate, the
Oh yeah.
Zero, with episodes what
8 and 9 today.
8 and 9. That's right, because Steins Gate Zero had to start with an episode 0,
Yeah.
which
Whoops.
screwed it all over. Anyway, yeah. So this is what we're talking about today, and and um don't know how to diverge away from talking about anime now. Pretty much, it's hard sometimes.
That's good. We'll be on topic. We're talking about episodes 8 and 9 today. Episode 8 is called Duel of Antinomy. Antinomic Duel.
How many words? Why does it need like 50 words in a title?
I don't know. Every one of them is the same.
I mean, let's make something sound like something, and then full on overcomplicate it. It's like, you remember the movie Jewel of the Nile?
Yes.
That's what that title just reminded me of.
Because it's got the word duel in it.
Because it's got the word jewel in it. It's like, oh, Jewel of the Nile. Okay.
But it's not duel. It's duel.
Oh, right. It's jewel, as in like two,
Not. Yes.
not jewel.
Not duel as in fight, but duel as in dual wield.
And not even jewel, as in like a gem.
But as in crown jewel, no.
No, definitely not that either, eh?
And not duo as in dynamic.
Well, no, that's jewel. That's not
Yes.
jewel. And this is jewel.
Yeah.
Jewel piston.
Yes. This is what we call a homophone.
A homophone. It's like I learn
Yes.
English.
Yeah. Dual and dual are two words that are spelled differently but have the same sort of pronunciation.
Oh, yes.
Like there, and there.
Yes. And read, and read.
Yes.
Stupid
Exactly.
English language.
Mm-hmm.
Who thought this language up? They should go.
I don't know.
Go away and get shot.
I think there's a lot of people would have to get shot. The thing is that's interesting is that like there are great words in the English language. And I'll give you two great examples. So there's a word in the English language to describe the act of to bend the knee in subservience.
Okay, yeah.
And that word is genuflect.
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 And that's when you bend the knee in subservience, as in like you're getting knighted.
Yeah, so like to bow, like yes, that is to genuflect, to bend the knee. And then there is the word that one of my favorite words, which is defenestrate.
Defenestrate.
Do you know what defenestrate means?
You defend the straightness of people.
I'm gonna give you the dictionary definition because I don't know that you'll believe me.
English language is never really. It's like Steins Gate, confusing and throws you in opposite directions.
So there's two ways to describe it, but I think the sort of historic definition of it is literally to throw someone out a window.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember people talking about defenestrate. I'm going to defenestrate you out the window for teaching me English.
There you go.
My native tongue.
It also means to remove from power.
Defenestrate. You threw the king out the window.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to throw him out the window. in order for the king to be defenestrated.
I feel that it should be taken literally, and we
Well, I
should
mean, you
do
could
that.
defenestrate the king by defenestrating him.
Yeah, throw him out a window.
He's removed from power by being defenestrated. So he was defenestrated by being defenestrated.
By throw him out a window.
Yeah.
Throw him out. Probably should do Boris Johnson. He needs to get chipped out the
Well, I
window.
mean, technically, he's been defenestrated.
He's not been thrown
Not
out
in
a
the way I'd
window.
want, but he has been.
He's not been thrown
Yeah,
out a
not in
window.
the way I want. Not in the way I'd want.
Oh,
Not. Don't want to get all political, but I definitely wouldn't mind seeing him get punted out a window.
there's the thing that is popped up in our group chat. Something about how Spice Girls are Tories. What's that all about?
What? I don't know. I missed this.
I don't know. It's in our group chat, and
I worry about our group chat. This is why. That's why I rarely get involved.
why do you worry about it?
I don't know. It just goes places that I'm not always intent on happy to go.
I mean, it's been pretty rough in the last couple of days.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what was that yesterday? At lunchtime. Well, at lunchtime, no less.
I don't know. I don't even want to repeat. To be fair, and to make things clear, this is not like bad things that people are saying. There's not racism. It's not anything like that. It's just topics of conversation that, hey, I really don't want to talk about this at lunch.
Yep. Pretty
Or
much.
ever, quite frankly.
Pretty much.
But
But
hey,
the new one is Spice Girls are Tories, and I was like, I don't really care if they're Tories. It doesn't mean anything.
let's look it up.
Because, I mean,
there's literally a big the number one hit in Google if you type in Spice Girls Tories is a Grazia Daily article that's entitled "Remember when the Spice Girls were massive Tories?"
alright, okay. Is that all it is? Is some tabloid article saying how they're
Let's
Tories?
see. Oh, I don't know.
We're all pretty much unionists, or at least flew the Union Jack around like it was something big, and it became pretty popular. Cherry, Cherry Hadawell, she wore a big Union,
Hollywood.
yeah,
She did, yeah.
big Union Jack dress.
Uh, I don't know what's happening here. This is they
Yep.
were pro monarchy.
Uh-huh.
They had some pretty interesting things to say about class.
Uh-huh.
They wanted more women MPs. I don't know how wanting more women MPs makes you a bigger Tory.
I mean, our only women, or sorry, we had two women prime ministers now, and they were
Yep.
both Tories. One is Maggie Thatcher, who a lot of people don't like, and a lot of people.
One of them is Margaret Thatcher, who was celebrated in death by a significant portion of the current population.
Yeah, because, well, she started the whole trend that is going through the country. The whole privatization.
Yep.
And people are
Yep.
still not liking that idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's given us worst. Well, I don't know if it's given us worst train service or not, but certainly they're not good. Apparently, Glasgow was instantaneously jam packed with buses as soon as the date hit, because everyone and their friend could get a bus and start like having a bus ride. So it gridlocked the whole Glasgow, apparently. What else? All the power companies here are prioritized now, and look how well they're serving us with their fucking massive profits and fucking bills. They're
$4,000 a year on electricity and gas.
yeah. Who is that? You?
It's what it will be in March next year.
$4,000 a year. Holy
Mhm.
shit!
Yep.
Fuck.
I did hear something, and this is like we will move on to the episode straight after this, I promise. But I did watch a video about a guy saying the whole movement of "Don't Pay UK" is a good thing, but you have to understand the complexity of not paying your bill. Is that it's really bad for you financially, but there is a good way to do it, and that is one, cancel your direct debit. Two, when your bill comes in, challenge it immediately, complain about it. And that means that as soon as you put in a complaint about your bill, it puts a 30-day hold on your need to pay the bill while they try to resolve the dispute.
All right, okay.
And then, while that's going on, they're going to consist. Your complaint is, of course, that you're paying too much and you've been a loyal customer, etc., etc., etc. They try to offer you money to take it down. You say no, absolutely not. They will then have to send notification of what's called a deadlock, which means that they have not been able to satisfy the dispute. And then you shall take that dispute, because it has ended in deadlock, to the energy ombudsman.
Okay.
And at that point, every case that goes to the energy ombudsman costs the energy company £500 in admin fees to investigate.
Okay.
So the suggestion is that we should flood the energy companies with admin fees by taking complaints to the ombudsman. But also, second to that, is that companies can only have so many complaints and challenges open at the same time without passing sort of a limitation, which means they'll start to be fined for every additional complaint that's put in.
Okay.
So, one, they won't be getting people's money in excess. Two, they will not be receiving anyone's money from bills because everyone's going to challenge them. Three, they're going to be fined because there's so many complaints that are not being closed, and it's breaching service. And then four, they're also going to get massive admin fees due to the bills going to the ombudsman.
I mean, that's a thought, and then the government just rakes in the money again. Okay.
How do they do that?
Oh, who's what's the ombudsman? Who
Well,
who are they? Are they not the government?
that's I don't actually know their affiliation. They probably are more affiliated. I don't know if they are privatized or not. But I honestly don't care at this point, because there needs to be a shift. The
Yeah,
money needs to go somewhere else.
yeah. I certainly stopped my. Well, I've also moved house. It has been noted on the show. Um,
Yep.
and I've just received. Well, I received a bill a year ago. Oh, not a year ago, like a month or two ago for my first quarter, and they're like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's this much," which is, well, it's actually rather pretty decent in my head. It's like, oh, it's like only 150 for your
What?
quarter, yeah.
How?
Oh, don't ask me. And then they're like, so we estimate that you are going to get like we 12 grand, £1,200 for a year. So we want you to pay like £100 in direct debit, or you can fix, which is fixing me £120 a year for the privilege of being fixed. And I was like, you've just charged me this for the entire month, for the quarter. I am just going to pay that bill because everything you said is quadrupled this bill for whatever reason. It's like,
Yeah.
have you not realized this? That
Well,
that £100 is literally like 2/3 of the bill that you just gave me for 3 months.
well, this is what happens, because then what they'll do is you've got 10 million people who are all sitting in credit with the energy company of, say, on average £100, and all of a sudden £500 million is just sitting with a company accruing interest for them.
Yeah, I really need to claim my credit at my flat. Oh, and another note on the flat, it's getting formally investigated by the TV license board.
Okay.
Oh, because I got a TV license there, and I registered to move it to this household, the new household I'm in,
Uh-huh.
and now they're saying that there's no TV license at my flat. And of course,
There's not. That's correct.
I don't live there,
Yep.
and I keep getting these letters in saying, "Oh, we need to come and see if you thing. We're blah 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 blah." And I was like, "I don't live there. I don't care." I haven't even told them that. I just kind of let them go with it, and they know that I have moved. And if they were
They've
able,
seen that.
yeah, because I've notified it, and I've moved
Yep.
the license here to this household, and they should then also be able to look at. I suppose they're private, completely private now. They're away from the public sector. Well, because so they probably don't have access to the information of the land registry to see that that house is still actually under my name and that I have moved.
Did you sell your flat? Or did I imagine that?
It's technically in the process of being sold.
Okay.
I am getting concerned in that whole aspect as I've heard nothing about it for a month. Even
Oh,
questioning my lawyer who's dealing with it, and he's like, I can't contact these guys' lawyers because I don't know the name. And like, you don't know their name. It's been over a month since they've sent you the written offer. What the fuck, dude? You should be like hammering their door down. So I'm taking matters into my own hand. I'm tempted just to phone up
good.
the lawyers themselves and go, can I get
The fuck.
Can I get the information of who's your lawyer for these people that is meant to be buying a flat from?
Oh my
And
god.
then I'm going to go, here, lawyer, this is the guy's name, deal with it.
And also, I'm not paying you anymore. Because I'm having to do your fucking job for you.
Pretty much. I'm like, I'm not paying you any money. Ah,
Jesus wept.
it's like, what the fuck's going on? That's just one, the firm that the virus lawyers are being pretty unprofessional and not responding to my lawyer, or two, my
Yeah.
lawyer hasn't actually done anything and just saying this to me to try and keep me down. But fuck them, I'm done with it.
Yep. Good.
Anyway,
Good.
happy times. Let's talk about a happy episode eight.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
Kick us off, Colin.
that's a really happy episode. You already done the title. That was like 10 minutes ago.
I did. That was about 10, 15 minutes ago now.
Yeah. So, as we were discussing last episode, there's been a time
Yep.
leap,
Yep.
and he appears in the lab, and then Karisu's there, comes out and goes, "Ah, you weird creeple! What are you doing here?" And he's like, "What?" And then he's like, "Yeah, well, you haven't really been here, you know,
Not not since
not since
the incident.
not since the incident." And I think then it cuts to the intro, and then it relates that, oh yeah, you haven't been here since Mayuri passed. It's like, oh, Mayuri? What? No! And then he gives Carissa a big hug and starts weeping and stuff.
Yep.
And she's
I
like,
did feel for him because it's very hard. Like, this is such a kind of a terrible thing to happen because he spent so, like, it's bad enough having Amadeus, who's a constant reminder of the woman who he's let die in order to save the other woman of his life.
Mhm.
And now he loses the other one again, all over again, and gets the other one back all over again.
yeah, and he's got to like deal with like the entire shift. There's like
Yeah, it's
a
just,
whole
it's
whole
too
different
much.
whole different grieving.
Yeah, again, like it's just it's terrible. Like
Yeah.
his mental his mind just must be mush.
He must.
Like, I think we do. There's a little bit about that in episode 9, like where it talks about sort of the what he's lived through.
Yeah, I mean, certainly this one is that, and then she explains that, and then he asks about the phone wave. Says, "Oh yeah, you destroyed that."
Mhm.
Rather than trying to fix things, he ended up destroying that. And it's like, oh, all right. Then he's like,
Yep.
I need some air. And she's like, okay. So he goes out and I think he's sitting in the park that they used to sit in. And then Daryl walked by and goes, hey, Okabe, what the hell are you doing here?
Yep. Yeah.
And then he kind of comes in and goes, oh, okay, cool. Takes him to Ferris's cafe.
Yep. Where he meets Ruka as well and Ferrets.
Yeah. And Mayuri's cosplay friend,
Yes.
the
Which
pervy one,
her name is
pervy girl.
uh,
Mayuri's wife, husband,
Fubuki.
Fubuki.
Yep.
Uh, anyway, so I think it's escalated that basically it's only Chris that's been in the lab. Well,
Yes.
even
Yeah.
Daru.
No one else. Or no, they've returned, but not. They're not there frequently anymore.
Yeah, it's stated that he's never returned after the incident,
Yeah.
and just disappeared. Um, Daru was the same, but has started to return on that. So anyway, Daru has words with him. I can't remember exactly what it is. It takes him to Ferris's cafe and he's like, "Wow, look who's here, dudes! It's Okabe." And Okabe's like, "Oh shit, everyone's here," because Ruka is there. Well, she's just a customer
Yep.
hanging about, and
It's nice. It is nice that they're all there. Like it. It's funny because it's not really nice for him. It's difficult for him,
Mhm.
but for all of them, it's such a big deal
Like
that he's there.
yeah, yeah, and then he, yeah, so they're kind of happy to see him that he's kind of all right and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and they have the conversation and kind of still mourn for Mayuri, um, and then I think at this point they state that Mayuri actually died of a heart attack in this timeline.
Yeah, it is something like that.
Says, oh, she died of a heart attack rather than getting gunned down. And it looks because they certainly have freedom in this timeline. They're not captured or rounded up by the rounders,
No,
which is weird.
no, that's right.
Um, and then in the cafe, he basically states, yeah, there's another timeline where she's still alive." And then Dara
Yeah,
gets a bit pissy with him, obviously.
I was quite surprised at this.
Yeah.
Uh, just like Daru tends to get sort of he can get really serious, but this is probably the first time I've seen him super defensive and angry. Like, and it's not anything for him; it's for everyone else. It's like you can't come here saying things like that when this is all still so fresh for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Certainly says that. Takes him outside, basically. And
He pins him against the wall.
yeah. Yeah, he does. And then he then phones Kurisu.
Yep.
And he's like, hey, oh, oh, and it's also still New Year's Day. Because, oh,
Yes,
Happy New Year.
they're going to go to the shrine later.
Yeah. Happy New Year
Yep.
to the people. Daru.
Yeah.
Long time type thing. And he says,
Yep.
I take it Okabe's been there. He was like, oh yeah, he was. Cool. I got upset with him. He said something. And then Chris is kind of like, oh, oh, he said that. All right. Kind of
Oh
takes her coat off, her lab coat off, and then heads out when she's doesn't even seem to say like thanks, goodbye, anything to Colin.
no, it's just she's gone. I must away.
Yes, I must away. And then Okabe is sitting on some stairs outside the station. I think Akabara station.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says, "Ah, you found me. Oh yeah, you're so predictable." I was like, "Yeah, I am. He's really not in the right mind space for it." And then she realizes that, and then she's like, "So, what timeline did you come from? You time shifted."
Yeah.
It's like, "What? How do you know?" And then I think they go back to the lab, and then Chris goes, "Ha! Look, the time wave, the phone wave thing, revised."
I rebuilt that shit. I did it.
Yeah, you destroyed it. You did destroy it, but I rebuilt it because, well, we got to do this.
Yep. I made it again.
Yeah,
Be happy.
yeah.
Sort of.
And he's like, "Oh shit, I can't do that again, man. I can't go back in time because I don't know how I got here, and
Yep.
I don't know how to go back." Type thing. Plus, it means that you'd be dead. I can't be doing that. I can't sacrifice you for
Again. Again.
again. And
Uh,
then he goes away
they
again.
go to this is. Would do they not go to? Does Kurisu not then take him to Mayuri's grave?
Not quite yet. No,
Is that not that bit?
he kind of gets some time from that point. So
Yeah.
he goes away again, thought, and he's like thinking about things and living in a internet cafe. I think he's
Yeah.
under some covers and phone rings, and she goes, "Hey, meet me at the trains are still running. Meet me at Akabe station. We've got somewhere to go." And then she takes him to the shrine,
Mm-hmm.
the graveyard, and I don't know. They have a deep, meaningful conversation about the stuff.
Yeah. I think it's she's trying to convince him to go back, to
Yeah,
wake up,
yeah,
to and we get this scene of like this kind of juxtaposition of like the previous scene from the first Steins Gate where Okabe is there to console Mayuri standing at her grand's grave while she holds her hand up to the night sky. And here we have Kurisu taking on Okabe's role, watching him as he struggles at Mayuri's grave.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, he kind of does that, and then the skies breaks open as it looks like she's shone the light on him, or there's a
Yep,
way to go forward, and he's got his hand up to the sky, like you were saying, like Mayuri did. And then the skies break open, and then Daru and everyone else kind of sees that too, because it was like a gloomy
yep,
day, and it's bright light it shines, and they're all kind of going, "Ah." And then he's like, "All right, let's kind of do it." He kind of she wants what's his name to appear, Hoji Kiyoma appear back.
Hohin Kyoma.
Hoin Kiyoma, yeah. Like you need him to come back. It's like,
Yep.
I don't have that in me anymore, type thing.
Yeah, he explains it's like that was all just because it made Mayuri happy.
And she says, "Yeah, I did do that."
Yep.
And then they go back to the lab.
Yeah, this is like I think he's made the decision he's going to do it. Uh, and her kind of parting type of conversation is around like, hey, so don't talk to Amadeus
Yeah,
on the other line. Like, don't try not to.
yeah, because
Um,
he does mention that he knows about Maho and that. It's just like, what? What the hell? How do you do that?
how can you know that?
Yeah, it's like
Because I do.
it's just how it happened. Um,
Yep.
so yeah, so basically set it up. He's got Winamp on the screen.
Yep. He's
Oh,
getting ready to whip the llama's ass.
getting ready to whip that llama's ass. Ah, Winamp. Yeah. Ah. Anyway, and then
Kids, ask your parents.
pretty much. uh,
It was 24 years ago, Colin.
it was it was like the best audio media player there was at the
Yeah,
time.
it was great. It was really good.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd argue it was really good. It was very good for a very long time, but Windows Media Player got so okay that it didn't matter.
Wow. I mean, it was really why he was there to play MP3s.
Yeah.
To be honest, wasn't there for anything else. They tried to incorporate video into the later version, but then that just got bogged down. No one cared about that. And then I
It
think,
was a what was it called? Movie Player Classic MPC.
yeah, I think that was one of them.
That and VLC were the only things that could play MKVs.
Yeah, because you had the codecs there. It was don't know when that then merged with something, came like a tried to become like iTunes. Because I think iTunes ended up killing it.
Oh no.
I think it was iTunes, man, because it tried to be like a shop where you can buy or
Oh
listen to
no.
radio, and I think iTunes just got so popular, and
That's no good.
I mean that's it certainly helped for the downfall of it because it got standardized,
Well,
and then you got streaming services now, so they didn't start they didn't help matters either, like
no.
Last.fm and stuff like that, Spotify.
Yeah, it's true. Oh well.
I think that's my take on that.
It's a fair take.
Yeah. Uh. Anyway, yeah. So her parting words is a kiss, essentially, as she
Yep.
then forces his hand to send that message.
Yep.
Which,
And it's a D-mail to herself in the past as well.
yeah,
Well, it is from her, isn't it?
yeah, it must be her phone now. Yeah.
Because it's the extended credits. Because the last thing that kind of happens in the main normal part of the episode is the button being pressed, or well, sort of happening, and then her running away, and then her deciding to come back like she did the last time. Uh,
I thought she was just running towards the lab.
was she?
Yeah,
But she either way, she gets the message saying "Don't come in."
yeah. That's weird because I don't know if that was like that time when they did that whole thing where she's like, "Oh, all right, I'm away now. See you later. Bye." And they're like, "Oh, let's do this for science." And they have like that big makeout orgy. I wouldn't really call it makeout orgy, but
I don't know what that is, but sure.
yeah.
But yeah, I think like it's
And then,
the text message was designed to delay her just a little bit, long enough that he could complete. Because it's not just pushing the button. Because he's got to. Does he not also need to like delete the data from CERN as well? Like there's the whole thing
well,
as well as
I don't know. I don't know if that's. It just seemed quite simple for him to return to
Mhm.
his timeline, and it was just her running along.
Well, either way, uh, it looks like it works.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it worked because that's the end of that episode. That was pretty quickly discussed. It's really
Yeah,
sad.
it's not a very long episode. It is quite sad.
It,
Um, it's a bit abrupt.
in what it does, like he's abruptly yanked from one timeline to another, and then yanked back into it.
Yeah, like it's all over in the space of 20 minutes, and I feel like there's a lot of complex emotions and things that maybe could have been better discussed over a couple of episodes.
Yeah, I
Like there was no challenge in getting back.
Yeah, I think this is more him just working things out in his head fully. Like, because you'll see in the next episode, he's a bit more uh with it as it was.
Yeah,
He's come to the term with his grief for Krisu and Mayuri. I think in this episode, he's certainly got, oh, like, Chris is back. Oh, great, nice. I get to see my love of my life type thing. But Mayuri's dead. My sister, closest friend,
yeah.
and stuff. And I can't deal with that. And then they go to the shrine, and we didn't really talk about when he got to the shrine. He saw it. He saw the shrine, and he was like, "Oh shit! This is the place. This is Mayuri's shrine."
Mhm.
And he like almost crumbles and looks like he could easily just walked away from it. Then he saw it's just like a shot of his eyes, and he saw the resolve in his eyes. And there's a lot of shots of people's eyes in this episode, in the sense that you see them tearing up and stuff like that to show their immense sadness and realizations and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, yeah. So
Talk
it's
about shots of people's eyes. There is literally just a straight up shot of a woman's chest, and I can't remember which episode that's in. It's literally like framed on her chest while she's talking. No face,
hmm
just boobs.
yeah, you're right. I can't
I can't
remember.
remember what episode it's in.
I was a bit worried that it might be that one. Was it Chrissy?
Maybe, maybe it was.
It didn't. It was like a couple of frames. It wasn't like a whole conversation. It did move up above that.
You say a couple of frames. I don't think it was a couple of frames. It was at least 3 or 4 seconds of just camera.
Uh, possibly, possibly. I glazed that over.
Anyway,
I don't.
what would you rate the episode?
I'm going. I think an 8. I think it's a bit abrupt and out there in the sense that I don't really know where it was
Yeah,
going. It looks like it was there just to kind of bring Okabe back in and show him dealing with his grief and hopefully pulling his finger out, starting to sort things out.
yeah. I I probably give it a 7. I think it's still a good episode, but it's too rushed. I kind of wanted. It just feels too convenient to have such a huge that's cataclysmic to end back up in that world line, to end back up in that place that you sacrificed so much to leave, and to be reminded of that again is just a lot to deal with in 20 minutes.
It is a heavy episode. I'll stick with an 8. I would say it's not the same world line that he was in before though. It was like a
Is
it.
it not?
No, it's this is also a different one where he smashes up the machine, and they seem to have freedom for whatever reason, because
It's interesting.
all the other ones were kind of like they got rounded up and was taken to be property of CERN. Well,
That's weird, yeah, because it says the description of the episode says that they're back on the Alpha World line.
he does state it's an alpha world line.
Well, I guess it can still be an Alpha World line without being that same one.
Yeah, because I think he
Because
was
because
always
the Beta World line is where we are now, and that's a cataclysmic shift. It's not.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's on this other alpha world line. I think all of Steins was also always on an alpha world line.
Hmm.
It's just not the same one. Because,
Yep.
like I say, the seem to the suggest that Mayuri was died from a heart attack
Yeah.
rather than being shot or being hit by a train or being
Yeah.
done by
Or hit by car, or
or basically murdered in some way or
yeah.
somehow failed to survive.
Yep.
But also it's 6 months after all that.
Yeah. Well, that brings us on neatly to episode 9,
Mm-hmm.
Pandora of Eternal Return, Pandora's Box. Yeah.
What?
This one picks up exactly again as we've seen, like it's just a straight run. Is as we see at the end of the last episode, Okabe does what he needs to do to jump timelines, and he wakes up wearing clothes I've never seen him wear before.
Yeah. And then he kind of runs out and goes, Mayuri!
Yep.
And then she's like,
And then he
hey,
hears her voice.
Okabe.
That was, and then Daru's like, "Oh, cool, you're looking all right."
Yeah. You're looking fine. And I think Suzuha's
Yeah.
there with her. Or is it no?
Suzuha's there too. Yeah.
Was it Maho?
Is it?
No, it's
Kagari?
No, I thought it was Maho.
Is it Maho?
Yeah, Maho was there because he basically goes, Mayuri, am I in the right timeline? Time to test it. Do you know
Yeah.
of Carissa? Have you heard the name Carissa? Well, not
Yeah.
Carissa, but what's her name?
It's Kurisu.
Carissa. Yeah.
Oh fuck, what's her full name?
Begins with an M.
Kurisu Makase.
Yeah, Carissa Makase. And so it's, yeah, I heard of her. In that AI that Maho was there. And it's like, cool. I think I'm in the right world line then.
Ah, cool. You scared the shit out of me there by saying yes. I know who that is to start with.
Yeah. I think that was in his head.
Yeah. Oh, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and it turns out he's blacked out for a
Yep.
while.
That moment where he had the freak out.
Yeah.
After the call from Amadeus, it turns out he just passed out.
Yeah. Apparently just passed out. And then basically I think they leave and state that her other friends also passed out at the same time.
Yeah, Fubuki.
Fubuki, yeah, that's it. I was
Who apparently was talking about Okabe, or Okarin, as she calls him, which is more of a pet name.
Yeah. But before that, Maho was like, "Oh, why do you mention Makase's name?"
No reason.
Yeah, and also is how are you getting on with getting access to the AI? And she's like, well, it's turns out the servers are hacked and there was an explosion at Wacko Wacko Land.
That's what we'll call it. I can't remember what the name of it is, so let's just go with Wacko Wacko Land.
Wacko, I think. Or Waka. Dude.
Anyway.
Anyway.
But yeah, that's right. But it seems like they were able to stop the full hack, at least. So.
Yeah. So.
Oh, and her hotel room got broken into.
Oh yeah, it got messed up. Yeah,
Yep.
looked like a burglary in the hotel room. So anyway, they go and see Fukabe in her bed. It's like, oh, that's weird.
Yep.
Okabe is awake, and Fukabe was just talking about you. Like, what? Yeah, Fubuki.
Yep.
And then she's like, yeah, I had this weird dream where I was working. I met him in the Maid Cafe with Ferris, Maid Cafe, and I didn't know him. And he's like, oh, shit. That's exactly what I did, and that did happen. Only
that definitely happened. Damn it!
Is that like some weird Steins gate? So,
oh yeah, he thinks that she's got the reading Steiner too.
To a degree, I mean, everyone kind of does in a way. I think this has just been more.
His is more acute though, right?
Yeah, he's easily enough to remember that stuff. and he seems to recognize that it wasn't a dream. It was
Mm-hmm.
something that actually happened. But question is, right? Without knowing about the Fubuki,
Uh-huh.
Fubuka,
Fubuki.
not Fubuki. Without knowing Fubuki had the same dream, how does how did it could easily have been like some comatose episode that you had where you
What?
fell down
Yep. And imagined it all.
and
That's
must
what I thought. I actually thought that when he woke up in hospital, he hadn't actually
leapt.
travelled.
Yeah,
Yep. I thought he'd had a bit of an episode.
yeah, and it's possible. And he gets checked out of the hospital. He's like, "Oh yeah, you can
Mm-hmm.
leave, but Fubuki can't for some reason."
No, she's got to hang in there.
Yeah,
But she's a strong one.
yes,
She'll do all right.
that's what Mayuri says. Aye, Mayuri,
Yep.
says, and then they come to conclusion of like Maho can't go back to her hotel room and he can't go back to the lab, her lab, and they need a place for her to stay. She's like,
Yep.
so they go to Ferris's place, and she's like, "Oh wow, yeah, you can stay with me, and that'd be so cool, yeah,
Yep. You'll be safe with Meow. Come with Meow.
yeah,
Right, Meow. Lots of Meow.
yeah, Maho meow,
Yep. And it's Maho Meow. And you can have a bath, and then you can watch a movie, and then we'll do some other things. And then it's like, oh my god.
yeah." And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't possibly stay with you," type thing, and she's like, "No, don't be stupid, you're staying with me. You're now my pet hostage."
Yes. Uh, she gets very attached to people.
Ferris does, yeah, she does.
Yeah.
So
But at least Mao will be safe there.
yeah, there's a question actually.
Mm-hmm.
Is it this one?
Go on.
Or was it last episode, or last Actors? There's a scene in it that Ruka's mum has given them food.
Oh, shit. It must be the one with the shrine, I think.
Yeah, I think it is. But Ruka's mum has given them food.
Uh huh.
Wasn't Ruka's mum dead in previous Steins case?
Huh.
I thought she was.
Maybe. I think you might be right.
I think she died giving birth to Ruka.
Huh.
But it definitely states that Ruka mum's made them food.
And Ruka's dad wasn't there. He wasn't mentioned.
Oh, Ruka's dad is still
But not in that episode.
no. I thought he was. I thought he was him who was looking after those two guests.
Oh, it was, but that was the episode before.
Yeah, but there's no time leap.
No. That we know of.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh
essentially,
god.
it seems like Ruka's mum's alive, and I swear she was dead
Interesting.
in the original series, but
Huh.
I could be wrong. Anyway, so back to this one. To do that, he goes. He goes back to Braun with a bit more resolve in him
Yep.
to discuss the rounders.
Following up from yesterday's conversation.
Yeah. Oh, and we totally got the K something seems to be some military signature.
I'm trying to think of the bit with Moika, where Moika's in the room. It might be this bit.
Oh yeah, Moika appears while they're all here. Maho and Mayuri is there, and she's just like typing away, going because he's asked her to look into things still,
Yeah.
and she's like, yeah, and then she appears, it's like, oh yeah, everything's fine, and it's like, yes, that's right. And it's like, wait, how long have you been here? Oh, I've been here all the time. You've been invisible
Yep.
all this time. Oh, that's really hurtful that I'm invisible. I know I'm
Yeah.
quite quiet, and then
So many emojis.
and they just have like a whole text message thing in front of the two people, and enough time for Mayuri to make her coffee.
Make coffee.
Just
That's right.
just enough to make coffee. So here, you want some coffee, Mocha? Here you go. Oh, she's gone.
Yep.
It's like, do
It's the I like the fact that it's like I think it's Maho is like, what is it that's going on here?
yeah.
And they're just saying, he goes, it's never mind.
Yeah, they're just like texting away, going, "What's going on?"
It's so good. It's so funny.
And Mayuri and Moa are like, "Oh, do you know her?" And it's like, "Oh, yeah, I do."
Yep.
Yeah,
Weird.
that was weird.
Very weird.
Um,
But yeah, I think this is the bit where, yeah, because like you say, he's with Braun. He's kind of pushing him to be more of a team effort
yeah,
and think more about who those people might be that attacked. And as you said, like the code, what is it, K2562 or whatever it is it's a code used in Western world,
military.
more likely military. But he's like, well, maybe if it were me and I was using stuff like that, I probably wouldn't be somebody you would expect. It wouldn't be like a big bad organization or anything like that. So he like kind of narrows it down a little bit for him.
Yeah, wouldn't be CERN. That's for sure. Anyway,
Yeah.
um, and it was mentioned in the previous episode 7, and they were looking up, and they were, oh, maybe it's like Mozart, and then that's where he got the idea of like Amadeus and Professor. Wait, what? Oh, that sounds thing and interesting,
That's right. That's right.
which we kind of gloss
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. That was one of her cosplay friends, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, the one that didn't go to hospital,
Yeah.
the one that was with her in the hospital. So
It's not sure how relevant that is because it seems really relevant.
it just springs his mind to Amadeus and talks. He
Yeah.
talks to Moho about that, and she's like, "I don't know, I can't speak to her."
Yeah.
And then I think that's when he gets a call and does the time leap.
Yeah.
So back to this episode. Doodaloo, doodaloo, doodaloo. Pretty much. Wavy lines. And then I think he does that, and then he gets a message from Suzuha.
Yep.
Because
She wants to talk to him.
yeah, because he has. Harry mentioned that he's done something, and she's like, "Oh, did he now?" And he thinks this now, and he's talking about her again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, interesting. So he gets summoned to
Yep.
the roof of the radio building.
Yep.
Basically, she's
Where the time machine is cloaked.
yeah, for once.
Yep.
And then she basically interrogates him because he's about. It's like, yeah, you know those earthquakes that is coming from Russia or something like that.
Yeah, and it's from the earthquake, the recent earthquakes in America and Russia. It's not what you think. It's them developing time machines. That's what's causing this.
Yeah,
And she's getting really worked up about it.
World War Three just around the corner. Like,
Yep. And she basically, she's like, we don't have time for this anymore, and she just pulls a gun on him.
yeah, she also
Just quite surprising.
she does also question him. Did you time leap? And
Yeah.
he's like, what?
And that's right. He says, "So what if I did?"
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
then she's like, "Oh,
Yeah, what is it? What does it matter? It's like, oh,
that's my trigger word."
it's time leap. Yeah. So she pulls the gun out on him. and goes, "The fuck, we got to do this.
Yeah.
You're coming back to me. We're going back to that date. Save Carissa."
I really liked this scene
Mm-hmm.
because it is just that bubbling desperation that Suzuha has had this whole time since the very start of this series to just, it's like, all we need to do, you just need to come with me and we fix it. That's all. It's all that needs to happen and it's going to be just fine. So that's what we're going to do. And he's like, no, I don't want to do that. So she's now been living with that, but is now sort of, due to recent events, just feels like the only option is to force him at gunpoint into the time machine. And it's because of course he's like, well, I'm not going. So, and then of course the next thing we hear is a gunfire.
Yeah,
You're like, oh no.
yeah. I was part of that is down to he basically says, he can't he can't be doing this. He can't be you can't be choosing. How can you make that choice? You can't just
Yep.
make that choice, type thing.
Yeah.
It's impossible. I can't choose between these two people.
How can you guarantee the outcomes? You don't know that. Like, we've arrived at outcomes, but it's not a guarantee. Like, it's through. This is the part where it's like it's a war of attrition. It's like you have no idea what I've done and what I've sacrificed to be where I am right now. It's not a single decision.
Yeah,
It's hundreds of decisions made, or the same decision made 100 different ways. You know, it's just constant sacrifice.
yeah,
And it sort of, I think it tests her faith a little bit in the concept, because of course her whole core belief, the whole reason she's been sent back in time by her dad, is that she'll be able to fix it if she acts the right way.
yeah, yeah.
And it's just not doing it. But very fortunately for Okabe, that was just a warning shot, and she just grazed his cheek a little.
I mean, Jesus, I'm pretty sure you get a bullet across your cheek. It doesn't leave a cut. It probably leave a burn mark, a friction.
Oh yeah.
It'd be
Uh,
a hell of a lot worse than what appears on the screen. I would have thought.
it's bad.
Uh,
It's the surprise where he says, he's like, "You shot me."
yeah. Like, holy
And
shit.
she's like, "Well, I don't have any other choice now, do I?"
Very much. And then Daru, and she threatens to like actually do a real shot. Then Daru
Yeah.
comes up and goes, "Aha! I thought you'd be here, but you got to listen to him. He's kind of right. You can't be doing that because you have no idea. I've I've read up on the time things, and it's all just chance."
Well, he says, he's like, "Why do you think I've been looking so much into this thing?"
Yeah,
He's like, "Why don't you put down the gun and just trust me? I'll figure it out." Like, I really like that because it's Daru's casual sort of attitude put to a use for a change.
yeah. He's talks her down, and she's basically on her hands and knees, crying, going, "I don't know anymore."
Oh, it's heartbreaking.
It's
She full on loses it.
she feel on confused now. It's like she doesn't know
Uh,
what's to believe anymore, which is literally what she
What's
states.
tough?
Yeah,
Well, it's super tough because she's back there doing what she's doing because of her dad, and yet her dad has just told her it's going to be okay and not to do what she thinks she needs to do.
yeah,
And I think she's just tired of having the weight of that.
oh yeah, yeah,
It's not. And you know, she says as much. It's like, it's not fair. Like, and as Okabe said, it's like, you can't make that decision. It's like she felt that was her decision to make. She was the only one who could make that happen,
mm,
and it's just eventually it's taken its toll
yeah,
mentally, and she's just exhausted.
yeah. And then what happens after that?
We go back to Mr. Braun, because he's figured something out.
Well, has he?
Yeah, this is where he and Okabe talk about who he thinks the organization is that sent the team.
Is it him or I thought it was Suzuha basically
No,
let
he
him on.
talks about it's derp. He talks about derpa,
Dorper, yeah.
derpa.
I've heard of that. That's an actual thing.
It's one letter out. Yep.
Is it?
Yeah, it's DARPA.
Darper. Dorper? I think.
It's a it's a military defense project for a technology project
Yeah. Well,
or team, and it's the same thing here.
yeah. Um, and he's looked into it, and I think it's the same universities that the professor's in, and it's like Stanford, and it's like, oh, well, they could easily hack into our systems and stuff like that. He actually starts seeing Chris in the background at this point,
Yeah.
going through, oh,
Well, this is yeah, because this is the part where we kind of get to the theory that the reason they might be looking for uh, Kagari, or for Amadeus rather,
mm,
is because Kurisu had time machine theories in this timeline too,
yeah, before,
and they want to extrapolate that information
yeah,
from the AI.
yeah, but before she has met Okabe and the gang,
Yes.
because Okabe and the
Yeah.
gang, it's basically opened that world to her. Um,
Yep.
uh, is that there's a scene where he goes to Moho in the flat.
Oh, yeah, and it's an absolute bomb site.
Yeah, it's like, wait, you only been here a day, and then he
It's
does.
like, well, I have to work here. God damn it.
Yeah, he seems to tidy it up, and they have like discussion. It's like, oh yeah, it might be quite easy for him to get into our servers, type thing,
Yep.
and stuff like that.
And yeah, he explains the theory as well, is that he believes that Kurisu had those theories and that that's what these people want, and that's why they're trying to get Amadeus. And he kind of is like, you don't happen to have any of like Kurisu's research or anything like that. She's like, no, nothing like that,
Yeah, nothing like that.
except this laptop.
That I can't tell you about. That's the end of the episode. Ends on that laptop.
Yeah, it does end on the laptop with Makise Kurisu as the sign in.
Yeah, and
She could just take that to anybody, I'm sure, and they would be able to hack into it.
yeah, I think so. I was also there's a scene where Susan and Darius is sleeping in the time machine,
In the time machine, that's right.
and it makes me think that
Because they're,
they've time hop.
you think?
Well, certainly Suzuha says, "Oh, there's no juice left in the tank," type thing. And
She says there's not enough. There's maybe enough juice to do 1 or 2 more days.
yeah,
And he says, what happens if we run out of juice mid jump?
yeah, and she's, suppose you just go outside the event horizon, and it'll be like this peaceful time, hopefully.
Yeah.
She
He's like,
hopes that it's
well,
that.
could be worse.
Yeah, but she's been looking for the kid.
Yes, that's why she used all the juice.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's himself has been going with her.
Doing it.
Yeah.
Mm,
To,
don't know.
who's to say that he's not actually older and wiser than the thing? You know, it'd be like Bill and Ted and their way of learning all the knowledge really quick.
Doing it later.
Yeah. Like the end of Bogus Journeys where, you know what we should do? We should use the time machine, go back in time and do like 8 years of guitar training or something. I can't remember how long. All I know is they end up with 2 kids, so it's over 9 months.
Yep.
married princesses,
Yep.
grown big ZZ Top beards,
Yep.
and started
I
rocking
love
out.
those movies. I love those movies.
And all with the whim of oh, say if we knew this was happening, we would have the time machine and we would do all this and all that. And so that's how
We
the
would have already done it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like how they broke out the jail cell. Ah, we knew we were going to get captured, so we went in the time machine and planted a key. Or yes, there it is. Or we knew you were going to come and kill us, so we planted a big trip rope that you walk over and get smacked.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
So, so good.
Ah,
So, so good. Well, that's the end of this episode. Oh my god, yawning.
yeah.
Tired.
Let's go on to midnight.
How did you find that?
I'm going to stay with an 8. It's not bombshell dropping. It's progressing. It's moving us
Mhm.
forward. There's thoughts and thinkings behind all the whole thing. But yeah, it's good. I think 8. I think it's certainly moving in the right direction of
Yeah.
causing more confusion. Because like now
I
they're throwing in the earthquakes and that's like the time leaps, and he's like, oh shit, that's the time leaps. That's what made me time leap. I'm still connected to it all.
fuck.
I'm still in an unstable
Fuck.
universe. It's
I
like the movie where he was like slowly shaking himself out of existence.
That's right. Yeah, I would say I think an eight's fair. I think the scene on the rooftop with Suzuha, Okabe, and Daru is really good. Like it's a real standout sequence.
Yeah, it's certainly the memorable moment of that episode.
I also the kind of bit at the start where he wakes up and they discover that other girl has been unconscious too is kind of an interesting side note.
Yeah, what's the chances
So there
of
must be something going on there.
what's the chances of two people going unconscious at the same time? Weird.
Hey, it's definitely not that new kind of encephalopathy.
Oh, Fubuki's the masked rider. She is. It's from the future.
Oh my god.
She is.
Amazing.
Totally is.
That's it. You've decided.
Or all three of them are the elite agents, and
Elite beat agents.
elite beat agents. ACDC cops or whatever they're called. What was it? Bubblegum
Well,
Crisis.
bubblegum crisis. Shit. On that note, we've done it. We've made it to another episode through another episode of Who's That Anime,
Hmm?
which leaves us to say Who's That Anime is an anime podcast and can be found at our home of anchor.fm/ Who's That Anime. We can be downloaded and listened to where all good podcasts can be found. That's Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Audible, Spotify, Amazon Music, Stitcher, all the fun places. We don't get paid for any of this. There's no adverts. There's no nothing. We just, pay our own way. You can interrupt me. Go for
Yeah.
it.
When you say Stitcher and then use the term
Yes.
all the fun places,
Yeah.
that doesn't sound right. It sounds like Stitcher is a place where, you know, like Fight Club, and you come out and you got like stitches,
It's just a podcast place.
and they give you stitches.
I don't know. I don't know where the name came from.
What's the hell of it? That's a weird ass name, man. Stitcher.
I don't know.
It's like,
I don't know.
come here and we'll make sure you'll get some stitches in you. Paper ones, string ones, metal ones,
I'm pretty
staples.
sure that is their tagline.
Yeah,
Yeah, at the end of every episode. Just adds that.
that this if you're on it, we'll get that extra bit on it. So don't
We're
worry.
gonna fuck you up.
That's not us.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah, we're not threatening you.
no.
It's
It's
just Stitcher.
just Stitch the podcast platform.
Yeah. We don't make any money from this, and I wonder why. But if you would so much as care to leave us a review, that would be amazing. 5 stars always welcome. Anything less than 5 stars with some lovely constructive criticism also very much welcomed. And again, if you like what we do, it'd be really super awesome if you maybe told a friend and got them involved and listening to the show too. We have a Facebook page. That's facebook.com/who's that anime. We have the highlights of when a new episode comes out and the occasional anime meme that you'll find there. We have a Discord. That is in the link for the show notes. You'll be able to find that there and come and join in the conversation around pretty much any anime, manga, etc., etc. Colin and I occasionally like to play video games. You can find Colin at twitch.tv/couchfuel and myself at twitch.tv/hailpayman. Both of those have accounts on YouTube and channels where you can see the archives of all of the fun games we've played. I have put links to all of those in the show notes too.
Yeah.
And I think that is us.
Yeah. Did we mention our YouTube channel?
I did not. I fucked up the intro.
Outro.
We have a YouTube channel. That too.
I interrupted you. Oh.
It's all right. It's all right. We'll keep let's just keep it going. Keep it going. So yeah, we have a YouTube channel. And the YouTube channel is where we put up the video versions of this podcast. We have been, I say we, Colin has been working very hard to put up all of the episodes, and I believe that we are now in the point where we're going to be seeing Steins Gate episodes coming live.
Well, yeah, Steins Gate's episodes are coming live, but we're now moving on past that. Well, not past that, but it's our bonus episode. And I'm going to be Pokemon. Our Pokemon episode, it was recorded like months back. Months before Steins Gate.
That was recorded almost a year ago.
Oh. It's still a few good couple of months, man. That was like October, November, man. It's only the start of August.
Yeah.
Still
10 months is very close to a year.
I mean, technically.
To be fair, that one is more out of sequence than the others.
Yeah, that's kind of out of sequence. Out of sequence. It's even for us out of sequence.
Yeah. Because that episode was released in December. Or November last year.
Yeah, and I didn't find it fitting into anything else really.
Nah, it's fine. I'll look forward to that one going live. I might rewatch that one because that is one where we had special guest Robbie of Pokemon fame. He knows all about Pokemon and how terrible it can be.
He did, yeah. He does. I should say he does.
He does. Oh no, he still knows.
He still knows.
He still knows it's not good. Also, if you did want to listen to other episodes of the podcast that Robbie was on, in the week where Colin could not attend, we did Vampire in the Garden. So that is also available as a bonus episode.
Yeah, and that will be on the YouTube channel at some point. I'll just need to squeeze that one in again.
Awesome.
Probably after the next Steins Gate one.
Steins Gate.
Yeah.
Cool. Well.
Yeah.
And I think that is, in fact, us.
It is. That's us. And I think it's time to say good night, everyone. It's a good night from him.
Yeah, good night.
And a good night from me. Oh, and same anime time, same anime place.
We'll be back next time
to
talk about episodes 10 and 11.
10 and 11. See you night. Bye.
Bye, folks.
Bye.
Good night.